The signal pierced the silence of Outpost Epsilon at 0347 station time. Ensign Kira Voss had monitored fringe channels for 4 years without ever hearing anything remotely like this. A thin, quivering voice and fractured trade standard. Anyone? Please, they're killing everyone. The Council won't answer. We're already dead. Someone, please. Kira's hand froze above the console. She had run every first contact and atrocity response drill 100 times. None of them prepared you for the sound of someone who already knows they're going to die. The transmission carried attached visual data. Against her better judgment, she opened it. Grainy footage. Armored figures executing people in orderly lines. Schools burning. Small, delicate civilians with silver skin and enormous black eyes fleeing from towering Saurian soldiers in spiked power armor. The Zorian came 4 days ago. The voice continued. Now identified as belonging to someone named Lyrian of the Mirror Then Remnant. They declared our moon's forfeit. They said our kind are vermin. The Council is deliberating. We have no days left. Only hours. Kira forwarded the entire packet to Captain Reyes with priority Scarlet. Then she sat very still, palms pressed flat against the cool metal of the console, trying to stop shaking. Captain Elena Reyes arrived on the bridge in under 4 minutes, still buckling her tunic, hair damp from a half-finished shower. Talk to me, Ensign. Kira didn't trust her voice, so she simply replayed the message and opened the footage. Reyes watched without blinking. When a child's scream cut off mid-note, her jaw muscle twitched once. Time delay? She asked quietly. Almost 5 days at current relay bounce, ma'am. They're probably already gone. Maybe, Reyes said. Maybe not. She straightened. Get me a priority 1 to Fleet Command. Full packet. And wake the entire watch rotation. We're not doing this with half a crew. The bridge began to fill with sleepy, confused officers who understood very quickly that sleep was over. 68 years earlier, humanity had discovered the truth the hard way. The galaxy considered Earth a death world of the highest order. Category 14 extreme hazard rating. The kind of place where even the bacteria could kill you and the weather could finish the job. So humanity had done the only sensible thing. They stayed quiet. They built hidden shipyards and brown dwarf systems. They trained in secret. They listened, and they waited, because the galaxy was terrified of Deathworlders. And Deathworlders, it turned out, made very poor neighbors when angry. Now someone had screamed into the dark anyway. Reyes stood in the center of the bridge, looking at the holographic plot of the approaching Mirror Then system. Protocol Lazarus is now active, she announced. All ships, prepare for cross-border transit. We leave in 5 hours. Anyone who wants to sit this one out can transfer to the depot tender before we jump. No questions asked. No record. No shame. Not one officer moved toward the shuttle bay. 5 hours later, 73 human vessels of every class slipped out of the shadow of a nameless red dwarf and burned hard toward Mirror Then space. The Galactic Concordance chamber was already in uproar when the first long-range contact appeared. Delegate Vren Thaler of the Lyrathi, Concord tried to keep his voice even. They are human, from the Sol system. Hazard Class 14. We have known of their existence since the first probe sweep 68 years ago. High Arbiter Kesh demanded, and you chose not to inform the chamber because, Vren said softly, we calculated that a Class 14 species would never leave their cradle. The environment would kill them before they could develop meaningful spaceflight. He paused. We were incorrect. The tactical display updated. 73 contacts. Acceleration curves that made several counselors physically flinch. They are moving at 17 gravity sustained, someone whispered. That's not possible, another voice answered. Nothing biological can survive that. Apparently, Vren replied, Deathworlders can. Admiral Reyes' face appeared on the main chamber hollow when the humans finally opened a channel. She looked tired, resolute, and utterly unafraid. This is Admiral Elena Reyes, Terran Combined Fleet. We are responding to a distress call from the Mirror Then Remnant. This is a humanitarian relief operation. We have no quarrel with the Concordance. We intend to rescue survivors and render aid. We will not be stopping for a customs inspection. High Arbiter Kesh stepped forward. You have entered recognized concordant space without clearance. You'll stand down immediately or face. Reyes cut the channel herself. The chamber exploded into shouting. 8 hours later, the human fleet translated into real space at the edge of the Mirror-Then system. 49 Zoran capital ships hung in high orbit like knives around a throat. The Zoran commander, Overlord Vraxis, regarded the incoming formation with contempt. 73 insects against 49 fangs, he rumbled. Open channel. Offer them the mercy of quick death if they turn and run. The human Admiral appeared before him. Vraxis felt a flicker of unease. The human looked calm. Too calm. You trespass on Zoran conquest territory, he stated. Withdraw or be erased. Reyes answered quietly. You have 30 seconds to cease all planetary bombardment and begin withdrawal from Mirror-Then space. After that, we will consider every Zoran vessel a legitimate military target. Vraxis laughed, deep and wet. You threaten me with 30 seconds? 28, Reyes said. The laughter stopped. At 0, the human fleet opened fire. They did not use elegant plasma lances or graceful particle beams. They used dense, stupidly massive tungsten penetrators launched at 0.28 C. The first wave simply deleted 16 Zoran shields in under 9 seconds. Then the second wave arrived. The Zoran returned fire with every weapon they had. Most missed, the ones that connected staggered human ships, but did not stop them. Human vessels burned, bled atmosphere, lost entire sections, and kept coming. They maneuvered at accelerations that should have pulped every crew member aboard. They did not. When a destroyer lost both main engines and half its hull, it rotated, aligned, and rammed a Zoran heavy cruiser at full emergency burn. Both ships vanished in a brief new sun. Vraxis watched his formation disintegrate. He screamed orders that grew increasingly incoherent. 37 minutes after the first shot, the last Zoran vessel struck colors. 41 capital ships destroyed or crippled. 8 surrendered. The human fleet had lost 19 vessels. Almost 2,300 dead. But the Mirror-Then moon still turned. On the primary colony's surface, Lyrian knelt in the ash beside the body of her youngest sibling. She had stopped hoping hours ago. Then a human voice, strange accent, strange cadence, came through the emergency band. Mirror-Then survivors. This is the Terran Relief Force. We're here. Medical and engineering teams are descending now. You're not alone anymore. Lyrian looked up through tears at the contrails of descending craft. She did not know what humans were. She only knew someone had finally answered. Later, after the wounded were stabilized, after the first shelters rose from the rubble, after the first children were fed and wrapped in emergency blankets, Lyrian asked a human Marine, "Why?" The Marine, Sergeant Torres, shrugged tired shoulders. "You asked for help, that's the only invitation we needed." Word spread. First dozens and hundreds and thousands of frightened species sent quiet, terrified messages toward the small, dangerous territory humans had always kept hidden. "Please, we are next. Will you come?" And slowly, carefully, reluctantly, humanity stopped hiding. They did not conquer. They did not demand tribute. They simply answered. And the galaxy, for the first time in living memory, learned what it sounded like when Deathworlders said, "No one dies on our watch."